welcome to another episode of Four Times in a Podcast. It's a match reaction episode where you join us just after 10 o'clock on Wednesday, the 26th of January, just about an hour after Celtic have been triumphant in the capital as they won 2-1 at Tynecastle. Goals from Rio Hatate from long distance and then a clever back heel from Georgios Giakoumakis. Saw Celtic take a 2-goal lead into the break. They were pegged back. They were dubious goal by Liam Boyce that looked a bit offside, and then Hearts had a glorious chance to equalise, but Liam Boyce's penalty hit the inside of the post and somehow went all the way across the goal line without getting in. Thankfully for Celtic, that is. But Tony, I'll come straight to you. When we've done the preview for this game, we pretty much said it was bound to be a tight game. Celtic in the first half looked like they might have ran away with it, but it seems to be the case when Craig Gordon makes a few saves and Hearts ultimately did have a spell of pressure in the second half. What did you make of the game?
I don't really know where to start. I mean, in the lead up to it, I wasn't as nervous as some people because I had a lot of faith in O'Reilly. I says that O'Reilly should play, and I was looking forward to seeing him play, and I thought he handled himself well. I still thought he had a lot of quality, and I thought Giakoumakis could offer a lot as well, and he did. The first half, we dominate. We absolutely blow Hearts away. We pass it round them. We go 2-0 up. I think Hatate, his goal's an absolute screamer, but if he didn't score, you'd be going mental because Jota was storing so much space, but he obviously really fancied it, took it brilliantly. Second goal, don't know if it's offside. I think it's really hard to see with a different angle. I think he takes it really well. It's a kind of inventive finish, taking a back heel hit. And at that point, I'm looking at iBooks, and obviously it's 0-0 there, and you're thinking, well, the pressure's on them. Can we kick on and go 4 or 5-0 up and really get a statement win as such? And even the first 15 minutes of the second half, I thought, the third will come. And then after the 60th minute, I thought we were fucking abysmal. I thought we were awful. I thought we just lost the midfield entirely. I thought Beaton some of his decision-making was crazy, and it makes me quite worried that he really has to get the intelligence to play that role in high-pressure games. I mean, on a booking, I thought he could have been sent off more than once after he got booked. I thought he was quite clumsy. Hatate and O'Reilly tired, which is fair enough. That was kind of expected. I thought overall they had good games. James Forrest, I don't think's up to it anymore. It's always been highly kind of debated, but I don't. When I see the difference between him and Jota beats men for fun. He looks very effective. For me, Forrest is just miles off it. Same with Greg Taylor. There's times he gets the ball, and I just feel, again, comparing him and Juranovic, I think that that wing just looked very weak when it was Taylor and Forrest compared to, I think it was Juranovic and Abada ended up. So I would be looking at left back. I definitely would before the window closed. But I'm not trying to be nasty towards Forrest and Taylor. I just, for where we want to be in the title that we're trying to win, I don't think they're good enough. I thought the defence held up well at times. Their goal, I think, is offside, but the defending for it is pretty symbolic. We're all over the place. Then their penalty, if it's not a penalty by Beaton's handball, it's a penalty for O'Reilly's handball. So we get lucky there that Liam Boyce decides to hit the post because Harrod went the other way. Just to touch on Giakoumakis, I thought getting into the last couple of minutes, I thought he was outstanding in terms of holding the ball up, buying fouls, everything that you would want for a big, strong centre forward. I know I've been quite negative there, but it's a results business, and to go to Tynecastle under immense pressure the last 30 minutes, the only thing that matters is that we leave there with the 3 points, and we've done that. So the players deserve a lot of credit. They've seen it out. Obviously, the crowd would have been against them. They would have been under severe pressure. It's quite a feisty game. I think John Beaton was pretty poor as well, as he usually is. But overall, they leave with the 3 points and we right the wrong of the first game of the season. So Hearts are third in the league, and I think we've played them maybe 3 or 4 times since they beat us, and we've beat them every time. I don't know if it's maybe just 3 times we've played them and beat them, but delighted to get the win. It's a very intriguing title race. It's still only 4 points in it. I think you've got the better goal difference by 3 goals, and we've got Dundee United at home, and then after that we've got the derby match. But it was like a game of 2 halves, but really so different. It was quite mad. Thought when McCarthy came on, there was one point he broke up the play brilliantly and just booted out a play. I don't know why we gave him a 4-year contract. I'd love to know the answer to that. And I know Darnell maybe touched on it. I thought Sora was okay when he came on as well. So a couple of nice touches and seemed quite composed, which was good to see. But delighted to win. But I feel as though we need to be 3 or 4-0 up to be really comfortable.
Of course, just on Sorrow, as you say, he's one that I had sort of written off, and I sort of expected that he would have been away by now. I know there was links with New York City and that, but I thought he played all right against Betis, and there was another game before the winter break where he came off a bench and sort of helped us out. And then again tonight, I thought he played well. I thought he came on. I know it was a very, very short period that he was on, but compare and contrast to James McCarthy, as you say, I thought St Johnstone game on Boxing Day, McCarthy was all right, but I thought he came on in the 85th minute and somehow still looked like the slowest, leggiest player on the pitch. And as you say, a 4-year deal seems absolutely crazy now, but it's easy to say in hindsight, although I know a lot of people did have sort of doubts before he did come, so I don't know. But on the game, I thought Celtic first half was exceptional. I thought it's your typical Tynecastle game where the atmosphere was really good, and I know there was only 1,000 Celtic fans there in the away end, but you could hear them, and the team seemed to thrive on it. And I agree with what you said. Hatati's strike is fantastic, and I know Craig Gordon's got a bit of criticism, but I think the strike's just too good and too powerful to see Gordon stop it. Although, if you read the press after the last time we went to Tynecastle, you think that Craig Gordon would never be beaten by a shot again. But as you said, Tony, if he does miss it, then you're screaming because Yotta's in a mile of space. But no, we really thrived from that. And as I said on the preview, I thought I wanted to do what the other mob done and get 2 early goals, and we got them early enough. And I think we were just that extra bit away from really giving Hearts a doing. I know we've gave them a few early years, and if we'd have got the third, I think it would have been sort of whatever Celtic wanted it to be. But we played well. The second goal, I thought Giakoumakis, I thought he was outstanding tonight, and I keep hearing, he's no Kyogo, he's no Maeda, but what he does, he's so effective. Every time he comes deep to win the ball, he seems to get in front of the defender, the midfielder, and I know he said his injury problems, but you've got to look past that now because he looks fit, he looks ready to really contribute. That's 3 goals and 4 starts that he's had in his Celtic career, so for our striker to have that, that's not a bad return. Hopefully he keeps it up, but I thought his goal was superb. He gets there, he drags Suter in, and the finish is just sublime. I think one of the pundits on Sky, it might have been Vera, who says it is the fact that if he takes it with his right foot, Suter probably gets a block on it because he's getting that. It's so intelligent the way he flicks it, and takes Gordon out of the equation as well. And half time, you're thinking, just get the early goal in the second half, and it really could be easy street. And I know Juranovic went close, Jota as well. But for me, you're always going to have periods in the game, but I thought when Jota went off, we just lacked so much. And I've been pretty consistent in my criticism of James Forrest, but I can understand the reasons for Jota getting off. He get booked and he's no long back from injury, but Forrest is just, as you say, I think his time's done at Celtic. I don't think he contributes enough, and he's one of the most decorated Celtic players, and he has had good seasons. I know I've never been a massive fan of him, but I think it's really evident as this team's getting better, he seems to be the one that's not contributing. There's times when his decision making was so poor, at times he seems to run away from the ball. There was one in the second half that sort of flashed across the goal, and he just sort of gave up on it, and that split second that he gives up on the ball sort of stops him from taking it on first time. And even when we were time wasting in the corner in the 93rd minute, there was one sort of place to him, and it just rolls off him and gives it for a goal kick. And I thought that was really frustrating for me. I would have probably liked to have seen somebody like maybe Ralston or somebody else come on and just push Juranovic a bit further forward and maybe move Abada out to the left if needs be. But we got the win. It was a massive win for Celtic. As I said, we got a massive stroke of luck with the penalty hitting the post and then getting out. But it's sort of one of them. I know, like, it wasn't quite astonishingly. It wasn't Beaton's only handball that he had. I know he's a bit unfortunate. It might have come off Riley's hand as well. But when Beaton get booked, I thought it was a sort of innocuous challenge from him. He sort of clips the boy and John beating this is just couldn't wait to get the yellow card out. I thought it was sort of typical his performance because the full first half you had Hearts players rushing about. I think you had like Haring and Halkett and that just getting right in the back of Celtic players, and like it just, when the first cards get produced and it was that Cammy Devlin who had the red hair two fouls, he sort of trapped Jota and then had Jota's leg and wouldn't let it go. And when Jota and Greg Taylor react, it seemed amazing to me that he booked both Celtic players for it when Devlin was the one who had sort of instigated it. I know he got booked as well, but I just thought it was incredibly poor. And as I said, Hearts were sort of at it all game in terms of like the wee sly ones. Giacomakis took a few as well from Suter and a few others where it was just sort of clipping down the back of the Achilles or clipping their ankles. And it's all right saying, he booked 3 Hearts players, I think it ended up being, but it should have been more. And I agree with you, Tony. I thought it was a poor refereeing performance again. But no, a massive win for Celtic. I know we've played Hearts 4 times now this season, once in the Cup and 3 in the league, and we've won the 3 after that first sort of league defeat on the opening day. But this is the sort of games that you need to grind out if you want to be in there challenging for the title come April and May time. Like, you need to go to places like Tynecastle and grind these results out, and I thought the team done it well. I know Hearts sort of did the bulk of the last half an hour probably, but I think apart from a few tame efforts from like Barry Mackay, who's another one who got away with a sort of sleek at tackle as well, I don't think Joe Hart had that much to do in the second half, so I think we relatively were comfortable with it. I thought the first goal, the only goal that we conceded, I thought Juranovic was pretty poor with his header. He heads it in a sort of dangerous area, but Starfelt has a wee push on somebody and then it seems sort of lost, and I think the goal probably is offside, but it was a very poor goal to concede from your standpoint. I thought apart from that, Juranovic was excellent. I thought there was one in the first half, the first 10 minutes, when it went through and Juranovic just had an absolute burst of pace and bet Barry Mackay to the ball, and I thought throughout the game Juranovic was one of our most effective players going forward and at the back, and I think he's just really shown how much an asset he's going to be. I know a lot of people's been massive fans of Tony Ralston this season, and he'll still contribute a lot more with the schedule we've got, but I thought Juranovic was excellent tonight, and I just delighted to get out of Edinburgh with the 3 points, and we can look towards Saturday. But Andy, what did you make it again tonight?
As we said, I mean, it was always going to be a tough game, tough place to go, notoriously. And we obviously, as we mentioned in the previous episode, with squad being sort of light in places and players being missing and on national everything that was already mentioned, it was always going to be a tough game. But as Tony had mentioned, I thought we started really, really well. It was a 2-0 up, and you're thinking we could really gear him down here. A lot of impressive performances. Hatate's goal was stunning. Really, really happy with O'Reilly's performance. Giacomakis again, looking like the type of player that was the top goal scorer in Holland. He's improving as sort of the more game time he's getting, which I think the big thing was that Kyogo came in, hit the ground absolutely storming, and Giacomakis missed that penalty, and that sort of hung over him. But it's, as I said before, that sometimes an injury here and there, and players take their opportunity and they sort of snatch it with both hands, and that's what we're seeing with him. I thought that there was a lot of good performances overall. Juranovic again, a lot of the boys have already been mentioned. There's a bit that there's places we can improve on, like you see with James Forrest, and that seems to be a great 7 for Celtic. He scored a lot of important goals, a lot of big games. But sometimes I can see the frustration for a lot of people. But again, is he in our starting 11? No. Once everybody's back and everybody's fit, I wouldn't say so. So no massive concern there in terms of going forward. But barring the sort of last 20 minutes or so, and obviously they were pressing a wee bit, there was no major concern for me. Again, like obviously they get a bit of luck with the penalty and it comes off somebody's horn, and there's a few dodgy decision making by Beaton and things like that. Like we done with, dare I say, teams that are chasing titles and sort of wanting to win leagues and things like that. We done what they do. You have tough games like that and you grind out results, and for me that really did give me a lot of hope. As we've said before, we've seen Ange teams blow teams away, we've seen Ange teams have sort of 6-goal thrillers, but we've also seen Ange teams now go to hard places in difficult games, difficult conditions, and grind out results, and that's massive for me to see that. But listen, the most important thing, we go out there with 3 points, big performance, and we go on again to Dundee United game.
Yep, definitely. Danny, I'll just bring you in. You're the last one to talk about this Hearts game. What did you make it? I know you were purring about Celtic at half time.
Tony's talking pure shite. Greg Taylor had a fine game. I think the first half he was brilliant and he's very important to the way this team plays. I'll give him Forrest. I thought Forrest was pathetic, especially in the second half. Offered nothing. Jackie Marcus, his best performance so far, absolutely everywhere. Defence, one of the kind of defensive type forwards, he was brilliant. We've not had a player like him since, I want to say Venegoor Esling, but I think that kind of Sutton type that just roughs defenders about, doesn't really care, whose way he gets in. Thought he was brilliant. Thought Hatate was really good. Thought O'Reilly was brilliant. Very, very impressed with O'Reilly. I think the way he takes the ball, some of his one-touch stuff was brilliant. Thought Starfelt had a great block towards the end, but apart from that, he looked kind of ropey. Carter Vickers was good. Hart did even today, and I think the team deserved to win. I don't think. Thought for 60 minutes, I think what happened was when Jota get took off, Hart scored about a minute later, and it seemed to just kind of compound it. All of a sudden, we stopped keeping the ball, we kind of let Hearts into the game, but I thought we won with a lot in hand, darling. And as you say, like before the game, everybody was just saying, "Oh, let's just get 3 points by any means necessary," and we've got 3 points, so just be thankful for that. But good performance.
I'll just come back to Matt O'Reilly, give him a bit of airtime. It was his debut, Danny. What did you make of him? I thought he was very tidy on the ball, and for somebody who was making his debut, I'm sure he's only had about 2 or 3 days with the team as well. I think he there's a few moments his decision making could have maybe been better, but I thought generally he was very good and looks like he'll fit into this team very well.
Well, the highest compliment you could pay him is it didn't look like his debut. It looked as if he'd been in the team for a while. So, just hopefully he can keep it up. I thought he played really well. He looks to be a very intelligent player as well, and he seems to pick up the right spaces. He reminds me an awful lot of Rogic. I thought even the way he runs, he looks like Tom Rogic. The way he was kind of strolling about the park, but it made that look, his debut goal, it was very good. It was very encouraging. It was a bit like Hatate. I was a wee bit worried about Hatate the night before the game because he played so well last week. I thought it was going to be a battle, but he was right up for it. He stamped his authority in the game, and I thought he was really, really good. But O'Reilly looks very good, and the fifth Beatle, as he's known, Meyer, texts me half time to ask why. And I'd like to ask you, how did he end up getting lost or how did he end up hiding at MK Dons? Because he looks to be an absolute bummer.
His story is very, I heard him talking about it, I'd read a bit about it last week, how he chose to leave Fulham, rejected their contract and found a team that in MK Dons that he must have got guarantees that he was going to play in. Less than like a year and a half or whatever later, he's made his way to a massive club in Celtic. So I think it's very encouraging. I thought there was one in the second half that he sort of walked on. The ball was brilliant, and I think he's tried to be unselfish and play it across. But I think I would have liked to have seen him have a crack at it. But as debuts go, I was very impressed with him. Tony, just before I move on to the Dundee United game, and I know you can't read too much in it, but pleasing to see Callum McGregor with the squad tonight, and didn't seem to. I know he had a bit of bruising and swelling on his face, but no sort of protective mask or anything. So I know Ange hasn't, or Celtic in general, haven't released much about it, but sort of encouraging that he's there just a few days after his injury.
Just to quickly go back and respond to Danny, Greg Taylor is shite, and I'm not talking shite. Anyway, no, it was great to see McGregor in with the squad. You want your captain there to have some kind of presence, and it was good to see him. I'm hopeful it's not as bad as we feared. I mean, you know what it's like in social media. 10 minutes after the game, you've got people going, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks, and you're going, let's just... I try not to buy into too much. I try and wait for the manager, but to be fair, he doesn't really give you a straight answer either. So, no, I would like to... I would hope he'd be back for a week today. That would be crucially important. But in terms of O'Reilly, I mean, I listened to him speak. Shows the character of him. He could have sat at Fulham and made probably millions of pounds and not played much game, and decided he wanted to drop a division, go and work hard and play for MK Dons, and he's got his reward. And I had absolutely no qualms about him starting the night. I just thought he would fit in perfectly, and I thought he was great. I think him and Hatate, you'll probably see the best of them at Parkhead and a bigger pitch, and maybe if we can get to Hampden again this season, I think the players will be massive for us. But it's good. He could be more like a Christie replacement as well. Well, look, if you look at that position, the attacking midfielders, we've got Rogic, Turnbull, Hatate and O'Reilly. I mean, when Rogic and Turnbull come back, they're not guaranteed just to get right back into the team. So it's great to have competition for places, and hopefully they can get up and running and continue to play quite well for us. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Matt O'Reilly. I think he'll be a big player. And then you can imagine McGregor sitting with O'Reilly and Hatate in front would be 3 really good passers of the ball, and all players that can shoot and score as well. So it's exciting. The squad we're building is definitely 100 times better than it was in July. I don't really have anything else to add on them.
And how do you see Saturday going? We're up against Dundee United. Obviously, we won fairly comfortably at Tynecastle when we last played them, 3-0. Goals for Tom Rogic, David Turnbull and Liam Scales. I know at least 2 of them won't be playing for us this Saturday, but how do you see that going? Obviously, the last time Dundee United came to Celtic Park, they actually got a draw.
Well, that game should never have been a draw. We had a Yeti up front who missed for about 3 yards, and the referee missed a clear red card for Fuchs on Sunday. I can't mind who it was, so it was McCarthy actually. I'd like to think we can win quite comfortably. I think Jota will be huge. I wanted to touch on Jota. For me, if he wants 35-40 grand a week, I would pay him it just to make sure he signs. I think he's so influential. The way he goes at players, he's crossing, he's shooting, he's dribbling, he's passing. Everything's it's a step ahead of a lot of the players, and he's a fantastic player. So for me, getting him back at Celtic Park in a big pitch, hopefully a full 90, will be great to see. I think we could give Dundee United a bit of a doing, or I'm hopeful we can. But as long as we win, it doesn't matter. But that would be, for me, I know there's been an argument between Vickers or Jota. For me, I think Jota can win you so many games. I know Vickers is great as well, but I think that should be a priority now, is to beat Benfica to his signature.
I thought Jota was excellent tonight. I know he's just still coming back from injury, but you've seen the state that he put Michael Smith in. He had to go off after about 20 minutes because Jota had sort of turned him inside out about 8, 9, 10 times. So hopefully, I know Ange says it's something that's going on in the background and it might not be quickly done, but hopefully we get it done as soon as. Danny, how do you see Saturday going? As I said, Dundee United did take a point the last time they came to Celtic Park. It's just another game that we need to handle before the big one next Wednesday.
Just to respond to Tony's response, Saturday, a big game. Tony said it a couple of weeks ago, I think it was against the Hibs. Tony, you said just win the next 4 games after the Hibs game. We've won 2, we've got 2 coming up.
Halfway there.
I think Saturday's tough. They've just won their first game in 7 tonight, and they'd lost 6 in a row. They've just won 1 tonight, they've turned it around, so they'll be there in a bit of a high. They got a draw the last time, but we were still finding our feet. I think the way we played tonight, if we can play like that for 60 minutes a game will hopefully be a couple of goals up. But it's getting big. I think, you know, you 75 minutes before Rangers scored tonight, you're kind of, I'd one eye on that, just thinking, you know, and the longer the game goes on, you think, oh, maybe we'll get a wee favour here. Unfortunately, it wasn't the night, but you know, could be going into Saturday 7 behind, having to respond, and then, you know, or we could be going with a chance to close the gap even further because Rangers play first. So Saturday's another massive one. But do you know something? I think I said this earlier on. I think I said it in the chat, but I think this wee run of fixtures will be the making this team, and the way we navigated it tonight, I thought, you know, we didn't let Hearts get on tappies early on like we did in August. You know, you basically gave them a goal head start, and then even though we played them off the park for large periods of the game, you're always chasing it. Well, the night we made them chase it, and I thought that, you know, if we can do that to teams, especially that away from home, as Andy said, you know, the team are learning game by game how to, you know, see games out. We're seeing games out. Well, I thought we'd seen that out rather comfortably tonight, and hopefully the confidence is up in the team. You know, there's been injuries, but hopefully they can, you know, keep it going on Saturday, because, you know, we're all gearing up for next Wednesday to be absolutely massive.
Aye, definitely. I'm sure it will be a massive game, but I don't think we can afford to drop points. As you say, hopefully we get a favour at lunchtime, but we need to just focus on ourselves at this point, and whatever else comes our way, we'll take. But Danny, I'll just take your score prediction in it.
I'll say 3-0 Celtic, and I think O'Reilly will score, and Giakoumakis will get another 2.
Tony, I'll take yours.
Fuck, we'll do it 5-0. Jota double, Giakoumakis double.
Edward,
What would you say, Danny?
Edward hat-trick, that usually follows you.
Yeah, funnily enough, the season that was obviously meant to be 10 in a row, I got that right. I says, no, was it Dan that get it right? Somebody get it right where they says a hat-trick and 5-1. I think I've called it before and Dan called something, but no, 5-0 Celtic, Giakoumakis double, Jota double and a debut goal for O'Reilly. But I'll take any manner a win, to be honest.
Aye, I know yous are all desperate for me and Andy's preview and prediction, but unfortunately you won't be able to hear that unless you come to Malone's on Saturday. We will be there for our world famous pre-game pubcast. It will be on about half 11 until 1 o'clock, so perfect time to get in, get a wee breakfast roll, and then get a wee pint before the game. We are looking forward to being back. It's our first one since the cup final, so aye, we're looking forward to that. If you want to see, hear the podcast live, the pubcast, whatever you want to call it, we will look forward to catching up with you. It's interactive. We'll take your questions as well. But aye, it's perfect. A bit more extended preview for the Dundee United game. So if you're there, we will see you at Malone's in Glasgow and Suckyhall Lane. Keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook if you're needing the address of that. We've got it all posted. But aye, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening, and we will speak to you next week. Cheers.